Hello, my name's Nirvana and I'm a sexological body worker, amongst many other things, yoga teacher and a few other things. And I'm here to talk a little bit about what is sexological bodywork. So often people ask me that question because it is something that is pretty new, and even though there's a lot of energy around, I guess, sexual revolution these days, there's still a lot of confusion as to what this realm looks like. So a sexological body worker is a person who assists people in understanding themselves sexually, about sexuality, and also about their bodies. So we give people tools to be able to deal with issues that might arise, whether they're physical issues or relating to other people. We also give them tools in setting up frameworks to understand or set boundaries and to understand fully what consent is in a visceral sense as opposed to understanding it mentally, and give people the tools to be able to explore and understand sex and sexuality in a safe and supportive way. So often our education around sex has come from our teenage years, and maybe even earlier for some of us. I know mine did too. And it's been around either self-discovery or being at school where you get a small bit of education about the functionality of sex and what to avoid, like getting pregnant or an STI. And maybe your parents might have talked to you a bit about sex, but often they didn't talk to you about your pleasure. They didn't talk to you about how to access your pleasure or what pleasure might look like, or what sex can offer you in terms of its healing capacity. Because often people, haven't kind of learnt about this or talked about this or even know that that exists. They might get a feeling of it, but they may not be able to understand that in a deeper sense. So as a sexological body worker, we can assist in supporting that education. Also can look at things like self-pleasure practice and how your habits around your sexual practices can influence how you relate to other people and how you relate to yourself. When we have anyone who has a habit, any habits that we have do confine us, and they also can sometimes affect the way in which we orgasm, or affect the way in which we feel pleasure. So often when we start to change our habits, we develop a new neurological pathway. So we're changing our neuroplasticity, which there's a lot of evidence around that now, that creates a new and beautiful dynamic in terms of how we experience pleasure and how our erotic energy can be a place of healing. So what does a session look like? I get asked that too, and some people kind of go, is it sex with clients? Like, I don't really understand what happens. Like, what do you do? Well, no, I don't have sex with my clients. That's kind of one of our protocols, is that we don't sleep with our clients. I'm here for your learning. I'm here for the learning of the person that is in front of me. So when you come to see me for a session, the first thing I will do is sit down and we'll have a conversation. So we'll have a conversation around why you're here, what you're desiring to explore or understand or get more knowledge about. And then I'll get a little bit curious about that and kind of probe that a little bit more, pardon the pun, and we'll start to build a relationship. And so building a relationship, for me, in the beginning, we need to establish a sense of trust, and that's pretty much for most people. And building a sense of trust, we will delve into creating strong boundaries and understanding consent. And so this can be something that often we talk about in life, that, it's good to have boundaries, it's good to, make sure people have consent, but what does that really look like? So in a sexological bodywork session, we will do exercises that will help us to understand that in a visceral sense, so understand it within our body, because often in many situations we can be saying yes to something and be thinking and feeling no inside. And so how do we start to work with that dynamic? How do we actually be really authentic in finding a voice that allows us to be clear about our boundaries, but also to stay connected and true to what we're feeling inside of us? So that's something that or a space that as a sexological body worker, we create for clients. From there, sessions look really different depending on the people that I'm working with. Nothing is done in a way that is me imposing anything on a client. Everything is done with suggestion, and then the client leads the way in terms of what suggestion suits them or finding something new. So a sexological bodywork session is really about your learning, what you're there to gain knowledge about, and giving you the tools to be able to take that home, to take into your play space, whether it's with yourself or others, to increase the pleasure that you can have in your life. So if you've got any more questions, or you would like to book in and have a session with me, then just go to my website, nirvanapilkington.com. and you will find Juice Somatic Education, Sex Somatic Education link to be able to book in time with me. So look forward to hearing from you, and look forward to spending some time and creating some juicy fun with you. Thanks. Bye.